Kia ora e te iwi, no mai ki Central News, e whakanoia i te wiki o te reo Māori. Ko Hilary Ntuasua hau me ngā karere o te wā. Old woolen jumpers and hours of knitting from some devoted locals have brightened up the streets of Greeton. Known as yarn bombing, yards of knitting have been used to decorate trees and the main shopping area of the centre. Greeton Village Manager Victoria Thomas says the idea started a year ago and they have been knitting keenly ever since.
Actually, it was Belinda's idea, and she has been wanting to do it for a long time and hounded for someone to help her organise it. And then we did.
Police, firefighters, gym bunnies and real estate agents will take to the ring next Friday to fight it out for youth. Te Aranui Youth Trust Dare to Fight for Youth is a charity boxing event to raise funds for the programs they run for at-risk youth. Operations Manager Wendy Nichols says the event will be a great way for them to raise much needed funds, but to also create awareness about the trust and the great work they do in the community.
So the proceeds are going to, 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the programs that we run through Te Aranui Trust. So they will be things such as we run a child offender school holiday program, we do blue light bangers in schools, our Dear Life Skills programs. We've got a new Dear program which is about to be piloted next term, which is to do with drug and alcohol. Our Blue Light Kids Gone Fishing event in November, so the money will go all to programs 100%.
Now for our region's weather for the weekend, Hamilton, your Saturday, showers turning into rain at night with a fresh northwesterly. Your expected high is 16 and an overnight low of 8. Saturday for Tauranga will have showers turning to rain at night too. Your expected high is 17 and an overnight low of 10. Sunday for you, Hamilton, the rain will ease to showers and there will be a westerly. Your expected high is 16 and an overnight low of 7. The rain will clear for you, Tauranga, on Sunday and fine spells will develop. Your expected high is 16 and an overnight low of 8. Just ahead, changes to the smart growth strategy. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. The Western Bay Plenty Smart Growth Strategy recently had a submission period. Some changes will be made from these submissions. I spoke with the chairman to find out what has changed and if everybody is happy about the changes. What have been the major changes that have been made to the strategy?
The most significant change has been the morphing of smart growth into a sub-regional spatial plan. So that's been quite significant. And by spatial plan, I mean it considers really the 4 well-beings, both economic, environmental, social and cultural. So it really considers all of those aspects that are fundamental to, good communities and contributing to the building of those communities and that type of thing.
Because that's quite different to what the strategy was originally set out for.
Yes, originally it started and it was the current strategy was adopted in 2004, which essentially had a very strong growth management focus, given the amount of growth that was occurring in the sub-region. And a lot of that, the majority of that was inwards migration. So in terms of the spatial plan, an integral part of that is actually having regard to the wider region, how this sub-region, the Western Bay, fits in and connects with the wider Bay of Plenty, and certainly the Upper North Island. That's certainly a key government policy plank in terms of building the Upper North Island economy, so it is about making a contribution to that.
And how will the strategy look at strengthening that whole Upper North Island link?
Yes, and the economies and areas such as this don't operate in isolation. So there are obviously economic connections, very strong transportation connections in particular, and certainly very strong tertiary education connections that are emerging, particularly between the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty.
Were any of these changes instigated from the submissions that were made?
Yes, if I can just go back, in terms of prior to developing the current draft strategy, last year we spent quite a bit of time in terms of community engagement, both with community groups, sector groups and the like. That provided very good input and actually influenced the development of the current draft strategy. So then that was then publicly notified for submission earlier this year, and there were a whole range of, in my view, good quality submissions. And that really probably reinforced the direction the strategy was taking. And whilst no major changes were sought, there has been a number of proposals to tweak it and to improve it and add to it. But certainly the submissions reaffirm the direction that the spatial plan was taking.
So you guys have had a couple of meetings and that kind of thing. What were the main concerns that were made from the public around the submissions?
It's interesting, it probably comes down to three. And there must have been probably around 40 odd meetings, and then individual discussions. Most of the meetings highlighted the need for enhanced tertiary education provision, and that was a consistent message throughout the sub-region. Secondly, the retention of youth in the Western Bay Plenty, and that in parts connected to tertiary provision, and also related to that upskilling of the workforce. And the other thing was strengthening collaboration, between all of the partners, but also other agencies who actually contribute to the implementation of the strategy. So some very clear messages that came through that consultation and through the submission process.
Most of those that you mentioned are all about the tertiary stuff, and they're kind of all interlinked. So how will the strategy look at putting that tertiary education centre in?
Well, there has been a tertiary education partnership that's been in place for a number of years between the University of Waikato, the Bay of Plenty Polytechnic, and Te Awanui-a-Rangi, a wānanga based in Whakatane. So that provides the core of the tertiary partnership. That's strongly supported by both Smart Growth and Priority One and a number of other agencies. And currently I chair the tertiary steering group. So we make a contribution in terms of assisting and supporting the partnership generally, and that's about tertiary provision across all of the Bay Plenty region, not just in the Western Bay. Secondly, there is a proposal for a CBD campus, and that's just on Durham Street. Tauranga City have provided the land for that facility, and that would be a partnership facility between the three institutions. So some quite tangible support that's actually coming from across the region in support of that tertiary provision.
So how long until we can see the centre campus?
Well, subject to current funding applications being successful, it's likely that that will occur within the next 3 years. However, notwithstanding the campus development, there is still the ongoing provision of tertiary programs and research across the partnership in the Bay of Plenty region.
Visit smartgrowthbop.org.nz. Just ahead, it's Christmas time. Welcome back. Just around the corner from our studio is the Midwinter Christmas Festival. I went along to check it out. We're here with Rose Varity, and she's actually been part of the committee who have organised the whole thing. So tell us about this tree.
This tree, well, as you know, the theme for the program this year has been the colours of Christmas, and this is a white and silver theme. It's called Heaven on Earth. It's dear to my heart, promoting the message of peace and hope and love and joy at Christmas time. Most of it's been put together with recycled ornaments. For example, we've got some tin cans here, which we've cut to make some stars. We've got ornaments that have been made out of toilet roll. I'll just take one out. Toilet roll holders. And we've tried to put together as many ideas together on all the trees actually of what we can use at home to decorate a tree.
I find that fascinating that you've made that out of a toilet roll.
Indeed. It cost us all of about 2 minutes of time.
It's a great idea.
Indeed, yes. And I love the doves, of course, really getting that message of peace across at Christmas time, and the angels. Indeed.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, let's go out and check the rest of it out. So now we're looking at another tree. This has got some very interesting pieces. Tell us about these beautiful angels.
These are just made from calico and raffia straw. Very simple, but it was just what I had in my box at home. And we put them together to make these little guys. Indeed, quick and easy, 5-minute craft. Not a major to do at all, but very effective.
And what about, these are actually pigs.
They are. They're just clothed pigs, Mary, Joseph and baby Jesus, just been painted up, and yes, again, very simple. Bag of them from the $2 shop. It's amazing what you can make.
And this, I love this, because you guys have actually brought, with some of the other trees that we're going to look at, you've actually brought a lot of the garden.
Indeed. These are just literally from the top of the corn cobs in the garden, and they make great fillers to fill the tree. We've got decorations on these on this tree that have been made with, actually as a closer one, again the toilet roll, good old Kiwi toilet roll that's been made with just jazzed up a bit with some paint, and very effective as an ornament. And don't forget the good old Kiwi number 8 wire. We've just made a basic heart shape with that and put a bit of gold cotton with it, and we got a great Christmas decoration.
This very Kiwi initiative number 8 wire going on here.
Totally awesome, indeed.
Let's go and look at the other tree.
Yes.
Now, here's another example of bringing the garden onto the Christmas tree. I love it.
Indeed. Now, this tree was actually done by Kath Coppard, but the little snowflakes have been sprayed with white paint from just rose hips in the garden, and they look really effective, little stashes of snowflakes. We have got our Chanel pipe cleaners here that we've made into little stars.
I love these.
Really quick and easy way to make
I think that is
Christmas
fantastic.
decorations.
That is so clever. That's great.
And we've got all kinds of shapes, and probably the best of all that we've used a lot of in this festival is just the good old agapanthus, which we've sprayed. Different colours right round, and they make great snowflakes, great fillers for the Christmas trees.
And that's great because everyone has those.
Indeed.
In the
We
garden.
cut them off this time of the year and they get chucked on the rubbish pile, so absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Indeed. Again, this is the same. We've got the old railway gladioli, which we've just sprayed with the seed heads. We've got some examples of polystyrene balls made with toothpicks, just again as fillers. Here's an example of the agapanthus sprayed silver. This one is called Silent Night, largely the winter icy feel. We've got the icicles coming through here, the angels again on the Christmas Eve. We've got more of the foliage coming through from the garden, just the dead stuff which we throw away.
That was reused, recycled, wasn't it?
Which we've recycled, indeed.
How have you guys made this snowflake?
They were bought at the $2 shop.
That's great.
But they're great, indeed.
So
yeah.
cheap and so easy to do something.
And that's the idea.
Yeah.
Very definitely. Recycling as much as we can.
It's amazing. But the primary school's actually about to perform, so let's go and have a look at them. Now we're here with Jill, who we interviewed before the event and all the preparations. So Jill, this is your court, which you had to explain to me what a court was. So tell us about your court?
Well, my court is obviously a Christmas table. Blacks, whites, linen and vines was the theme. Just nice, smart, simple Christmas table, little bit of light, my lovely angel in the corner. Just a really nice, simple Christmas table.
You've actually made goodies as well.
I did make goodies. I did.
What's that?
That's called White Christmas, which is a traditional Christmas sweet. Have you heard of White Christmas before?
No.
No.
It looks familiar though. I'm sure it's something that
Just traditional white chocolate and cherries and nuts, all the things that we love to eat at Christmas time.
Oh, yum. So why did you choose black and white and green?
Probably because I had Christmas at my home last year and this is the theme I had.
So do you do a different thing every year for Christmas?
I do. I do.
That-
Different colours, different themes.
That's dedication. That is.
Yeah.
Tell us about this thing, the centrepiece that
The
you
tower?
Yeah.
Just a nice rustic wire tower and really nice because you can wrap the tower with whatever you like. Really effective and simple.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Make sure you head along. It is on tomorrow as well. Just ahead, there may be changes to the Snapper 1 quota. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. The Ministry of Primary Industries will be reassessing the quota for the Snapper 1 area, which includes the Bay of Plenty. I spoke with Legacy to find out what this will all mean. So what has the recent Ministry of Primary Industries assessment on the Snapper 1 area found?
Currently the Snapper 1 quota in the Bay of Plenty, according to the stock assessment, is at 6% of the unfished biomass. That's conveniently being amalgamated with the Hauraki Gulf figure to sort of hide that 6%, and even with those two figures combined, we're looking at 19% of what the original fish stocks were at.
What is predicted that will be some of these changes to the quota?
So there's really no changes to quota that's being proposed by the Ministry. What they've strongly hinted at is that they'll look at reducing recreational catch limits. So currently it's 9 snapper, they might look at reducing that down, as well as increasing the minimum legal size for recreational anglers. There's been no mention, it's very unlikely that they will actually reduce commercial catch quota.
What is the current quota for commercial?
So for commercial fishermen, they've got a quota for the whole Snapper 1 fishery of 4,500 tonnes. The recreational anglers, we don't actually have a quota, we have an allowance, and that is 2,300 tonnes, and that was set back in 1997.
And how long can we catch fish?
So the minimum legal size for a snapper for a recreational angler is 27 centimetres.
And how long for commercial?
I'm pretty sure it's 25 centimetres for commercial.
So what are the facts around the current management target?
So the government have a management strategy standard which says basically that snapper should be managed to 40% of their original biomass. So we agree with that. We think 40% is a pretty reasonable sort of minimum, but what we're interested in is seeing like a decent strategy to get there. And a strategy that doesn't just rely on imposing restrictions on recreational anglers rather than targeting commercial fishers as well.
What would Legacy like that to be?
We're okay with 40%. We think that that's a reasonable minimum target. We really want a solid management strategy that doesn't just target recreational fishers. Recreational anglers just will not tolerate an increase in minimum legal size and a reduction in their catch bag limits if commercial fishers get to continue to use damaging methods such as bottom contact trawling, Danish seining, which kills just so many juvenile fish, and those fish just don't get to become larger fish, and that's what's stopping us from getting to 40%.
Can you give us some examples of those methods that commercial fishing uses?
So bottom contact trawling is essentially just a big net that goes along and scoops up whatever's there. So they catch snapper, they catch John Dory, Tereki, Trevally, just all of those fish that are in that mixed fin fishery. And Danish seining is a net that goes out and goes around the fish and then comes back together and scoops them all up. So they're really unselective. They catch a lot of small fish, and they just simply cannot target what they're allowed to catch.
So what is Legacy?
So Legacy is really an opportunity for the public to stick up for themselves. We're asking people to voluntarily fund through individual contributions and through corporate sponsorships the work that we're doing to advocate on their behalf. The commercial industry are really well funded, they're really well resourced. They've come together and they're really good at lobbying the government for what they want, and that's what we're trying to do, is basically be the equivalent for recreational anglers.
Do you think that the Bay of Plenty is in particularly more danger than other regions in New Zealand?
Yeah, absolutely. Bay of Plenty, we're at 6%. We've wiped out 94% of the snapper that were once there. That's an embarrassment. We're being referred to as the Bay of Empty rather than the Bay of Plenty. There's just so much room for improvement there, and it all comes from a management strategy. And it comes from both recreational and commercial fishers behaving more responsibly.
I mean, commercial fishing does add to the economy of the Bay of Plenty, so how do we find that balance between economy and the environment?
Commercial fishing, the benefits of commercial fishing to the local economy are not as great as people might imagine. It creates relatively few and low wage jobs. The guts of the profit from the industry is going to corporate shareholders. There's more value in per fish, there's more value in recreational fishing than there is in commercial fishing.
So what are some of the methods of commercial fishing that Legacy would like changed?
Yeah, so we're not against commercial fishing. It can be done more responsibly. So if we can use smarter trawl technology, of which is being used in other parts of the world, instead of centuries-old methods that we're currently using, we move it to smart technology, which allows undersized fish to escape, which increases the selectivity of different species that they go after. Long lining for snapper is also a lot more selective than netting, so we'd like to see more of a focus on long lining.
Visit Legacy, that is legasea.co.nz, if you would like to join the cause. That is the news for today and this week. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back next week with more guests from in and around our regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening and a fantastic weekend.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.